Welcome councillors, our Chief Executive Officer, General Managers, Executive Staff and a member in the gallery and those watching via live stream to this ordinary meeting of Council. We have no need for any apologies today. As a council, we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and the elders past, present and emerging. We also acknowledge those Australians who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service of our country and their families. The first item of business is item B1, the confirmation of the previous minutes. I now move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 25th of January 2022 be taken as read and confirmed. Could I have a seconder, please? Second is Councillor McPhee. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is item C1, is declaration of conflicts of interest. And I now move that councillors declare any conflicts of interest and any items to be discussed at today's meeting. First off the cab is Councillor McPhee.
I was on mute. Thank you, Mr Mayor. Pursuant to section 150EL of the Local Government Act 2009, I wish to inform the meeting that I have a prescribed conflict of interest in the matter G3, sale of part of Native Park. East Bundaberg Developments Proprietary Limited has an interest in the matter. And the nature of my relationship with the aforementioned company is the directors of that company also own a wholesale supply company which has been supplying several of my locations for a period of 10 years or more. As a result of my prescribed conflict of interest, I will be leaving the meeting while the matter is considered and voted on.
Thanks, Councillor McPhee. As Councillor V has identified the conflict and will be leaving the room, there is no need to vote on that matter. Next, Councillor Haberman.
Mr Mayor, pursuant to section 150EQ of the Local Government Act 2009, I wish to inform the meeting that I have a declarable conflict of interest in regard to item G2. The nature of the conflict is that I volunteer for the Bundaberg Race Club at their race days and I'm also sponsor a trophy for them each year. Having stated the conflict, I believe I can participate and vote on the matter.
Thank you, Councillor Haberman. Councillor Haberman has stated that he believes that he can participate and vote on the matter. The other councillors must now decide, as pursuant to section 150EQ of the Act, that council has been informed of the declarable conflict of interest, whether Councillor Haberman may participate in the decision about the matter, including voting on the matter, or must leave the meeting and stay away, which the eligible councillors then continue to discuss and vote on it. So can I please have a show of hands for those councillors determine that Councillor Haberman may participate in a meeting involving voting on the matter? Those against? No. So moved. It's now determined that Councillor Haberman is able to participate in the meeting, including voting on the matter. Next Councillor Learmonth.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Learmonth.
Pursuant to section 150EQ of the Local Government Act 2009, I wish to inform the meeting of a declarable conflict of interest in the matter G3, sale of the Native Park, East Bundaberg Development Private Limited. The nature of the declarable conflict of interest is the directors Kelvin and Glenda McIntyre, a former business associates ending 8 years ago. His interest in the matter as director of the company purchasing the land from the council. Having disclosed my declarable conflict of interest, I wish to participate in the decision on the matter in the public's interest and intend to remain in the meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Learmonth. Pursuant to section 150EQ of the Act, Council has been informed of a declarable conflict of interest, and Councillor Learmonth has stated that he believes that he can participate and vote on the matter. The other councillors must decide whether Councillor Learmonth may participate in a decision about the matter, including voting on the matter, or must leave the meeting and stay away while the eligible councillors discuss and vote on the particular matter. So can I please have a show of hands for those councillors determine that Councillor Learmonth may participate in the meeting, including voting on the matter? No's against? No. So, sorry, I'll just do it again. So those that are able to, so can I please have a show of hands of those councillors determined that Councillor Learmonth may participate in the meeting if we include voting on the matter? Right, is those for, those against? No, that's good. Thank you everybody for your patience. Next one is Councillor Mitchell. Yep.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Pursuant to section 150EQ of the Local Government Act 2001, I'd like to advise the meeting that I have a declarable conflict of interest in the matter G3, sale of part of Native Park, East Bundaberg Developments Proprietary Limited as trustee. The nature of the declarable conflict of interest is that I am a social member of that club. As a result of this conflict of interest, I intend to leave the meeting while the matter is considered and voted on. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Mitchell. So pursuant to section 15EQ of the Act, Councillor Mitchell has identified the type of conflict and has chosen to leave the meeting. As Councillor Mitchell has taken the choice to leave the meeting, there is no need to vote on the said matter. I'll just go around the room. Is there any other conflicts? Councillor Trevor, Councillor Bartel, Councillor Otter, please don't. Councillor Barnes, no. Councillor McLaughlin, Councillor Hadman's done his. Councillor Cooper, no. Mitchell, Councillor Learmonth, myself, no. And I just remind everyone, just with the changes there, if something comes up while we're going through the meeting, please make us aware of it. The first item of business is item F1. It's the financial summary as of the 1st of February this year. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Good morning, Mr Mayor and councillors and Harry and those on live stream. The recommendation is that the financial summary as at the 1st of February 2022 be noted by the council.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder is Councillor Haberman. Councillor Cooper, you should speak further in relation to the item.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In accordance with section 204 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, a financial report must be presented to the council on a monthly basis. The attached financial report contains the final summary and associated commentary as at the 1st of February 2022.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillors wish to raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is G1, Audit and Risk. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you again, Mr Mayor. The recommendation is the minutes of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting held on the 7th of October 2021 be received and noted.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder is Councillor Mitchell. Councillor Cooper, you should speak further in relation to the matter.
Thank you. The Audit and Risk Management Committee met on the 7th of October 2021 and the minutes are attached for the council's information.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillors wish to raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is item G2. It's a lease arrangement, Bundaberg Racecourse. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you. The recommendation is that 1. Council apply the exception contained in section 236 in brackets 1 in brackets B in bracket 2 of the Local Government Regulation 2012. 2. That the Chief Executive Officer be authorised to enter into a lease with Bundaberg Greyhound Racing Inc. and a lease with Bundaberg Race Club Incorporated for part of the Bundaberg Racecourse known as Lot 159 on SP 128642 for the initial term of 5 years. 3. Pursuant to section 122 in brackets 1 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council grant the Bundaberg Greyhound Racing Club Inc. and Bundaberg Race Club Incorporated 6,000 kilolitres of water per financial year, each free of consumption charges, on the condition that the allowance be provided to 1 water meter, that the allowance be used only for watering of the racecourse site, and the clubs develop and implement a water efficiency management plan, and 4. Pursuant to section 122 in brackets 1 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Council grant 50% concession on sewage pedestal charges within the lease area.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Bartels. Councillor Cooper, you speak further in relation to the matter.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Council is the trustee Council is the trustee of the Bundaberg Race course located at lot 159 on SP 128642, located at 20 Maynard Street, Admiral Heights. The property has been used by the Bundaberg Greyhound Race Club and the Bundaberg Race Club Incorporated for some time under an MOU arrangement. The 10-year arrangements are now being formalised by way of a lease. As part of the lease negotiation, the clubhouse on site has been retained by the council and will be made available as a venue to hire. The club will utilise the buildings under a hire arrangement for their respective race days. Greyhounds. The Greyhounds will lease Area B and C and part of the ground floor of the building, Area D and E. The term of the lease is 5 years with no options. Rent is at the community group rate. All other terms of the lease area as per council standard terms. Pursuant to section 122 in brackets 1 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, it is proposed that council grant a 50% concession on sewage pedestals charges with the lease area and 6,000 kilolitres of water per annum free of consumption charges, with the exemption that the allowance be provided to one water meter and that the allowance be used for only for water in the racecourse site. The club is required to develop a management plan for that purpose. Just turn the page. Similar with the race club. The race club will lease sections A, F and H. The term of the lease is 5 years with no options. Rent is at the community group rate. All terms of the lease area are council standard terms. Similar situation with the water and the 50% discount. Council proposes to apply the exception to the tender /auction requirements contained in section 236 in brackets 1 in brackets B in brackets 2 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, given that the property is being leased to a community organisation.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillors wish to raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. All those in favour? Those against? Sorry, there's just a few hands taking time. I've just got to... Those for? Those against? Down. Yep, very good. So pass unanimously. Next item is item G4. Item G3. Is in relation to sale of part of Native Park. Councillor McPhee's leaving the room. I now call Councillor Mitchell is leaving the room also. I now call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The recommendation that 1, council apply the exception contained in section 236 in brackets 1 in brackets C in brackets 4 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Queensland, to disposal of the portion of lot 1 on RP 1346603 and lot 14 on RP 122951 and 2. The Chief Executive Officer be authorised to enter into a contract of sale with the buyer and attend to all items required to finalise the sale.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Seconder is Councillor Haberman. I'd like to speak further in relation to the motion, Councillor Cooper.
Yes, Mr Mayor. Council is the freehold owner of the Native Park located at Lot 1 on RP 134603, known as 7 Olsen Street, East Bundaberg, and the adjoining Lot 14 on RP 122951, known as 19 Eastgate Street, East Bundaberg. Council's officers identified an encroachment of the adjoining landowner's infrastructure on the property. To remedy the breach, council officers have been working with the East Bundaberg Development Proprietary Limited as trustees for the Magpies Unit Trust to negotiate the sale of a small portion of the property. The portion of the property encroached upon with infrastructure is proposed to be subdivided off and sold to the adjoining owner for market value. The adjoining owner is proposed proposed to be responsible for the cost associated with the sale, including development approval, survey plans, preparation and registration of the Department of Resources. Council proposes to apply the exemption contained in section 236 in brackets 1 in brackets C in brackets 4 of the Local Government Regulation 2012 for the disposal of land as the land is disposed of to a person who owns adjoining land and the land is not suitable to be offered for disposal by tender or auction for particular reasons, including the existence of particular infrastructure on the land.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillor wish to raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. I'll just get the councillors back in the room. Item G4 is also I think it's a sale item. I call Councillor Cooper.
Again, the recommendation is that 1, the council apply exceptions contained in section 236 in brackets 1 in brackets A in brackets I of the Local Government Regulation to 2012 Queensland to the disposal of lot 9 on SP 311608 and 2, the Chief Executive Officer be authorised to enter into a contract of sale with the buyer and attend to all items required to finalise the sale of the lot.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder is Councillor Honour. Councillor Cooper, you speak further.
Yeah, the background, Mr Mayor, is council is the freehold owner of lot 9 on SP 311608, known as 15 Aviation Crescent, Kensington, at the Bundaberg Regional Aviation and Aerospace Precinct. Council has previously resolved to sell the lot as the lot is surplus to council's needs. The lot has previously been offered for sale by tender. The tender was not successful and the lot was listed for sale. Council has received an offer to purchase the lot. The offer to purchase the lot presented to council is at market value.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillor wish to raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item of business is item H1, specialised supply arrangements. So Trevor, did you want to do this one? Oh, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah, okay. So I now move the recommendation in relation to specialised supply arrangements is that council apply the exemption contained in section 236 brackets 1 brackets A brackets I the Local Government Regulations 2012 Queensland to the disposal of, actually no, that's not the correct one, Wendy. It's H1. Yeah, I'll go back to the items. H1 is from the infrastructure part. It's a specialised supplier arrangement, and the recommendation is that council enter into arrangement with Dormakaba Australian Propriety Limited for the supply of parts and test equipment for dormer automatic doors without first inviting written quotes pursuant to section 235B of the Local Government Regulations 2012, and B, this arrangement be made for a period of 3 years. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder is Councillor McPhee. As per the report in here, we have a number of these types of remote doors, and to maintain that consistency, this particular supplier is put forward as per the brief. Any other questions or queries in relation to the motion? No. I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item of business is item L1. It's a planning and development area. It's in L1 is 1A Kingston Street, Norval, material change of use for telecommunications facility. I now move that the development application 522.2021.268.1 be refused for the reasons as detailed in the agenda report. Can I have a seconder, please? The seconder is Councillor Haberman. Request certainly before going to the vote, I'll just ask the CEO to be able to speak in relation to the matter or refer it to another General Manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Councillors recall that this matter had previously come up to Council at the time the applicant asked when it previously came to Council to stop the clock to enable representations to be made by their consultant to the Council. Those representations were made in quite a comprehensive fashion about a couple of weeks ago at a consultation day. Councillors were provided with more information. The planners have amended the report to provide any additional information that was relevant to the recommendation. But ultimately, as you'll see, the information that was provided to Council at consultation day has not effectively altered the recommendation. So the recommendation for refusal by the Council's Development and Planning team stands. And mobile phone towers, by their very nature, tend to attract a lot of public interest, particularly if they're anywhere near residential areas. And certainly that was the case with this application.
Thanks, Mr CEO. Any other councillors wish to raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. I'll now put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. The next item is into a lease arrangement. It's 01 in relation to Bundaberg Regional Airport. I call Councillor Cooper.
Thank you again, Mr Mayor. The recommendation is that 1, Council apply the exception contained in section 236 in brackets 1, in brackets C in brackets 3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and the Chief Executive Officer be authorised to enter into a lease with EBCO Queensland Proprietary Limited for part of lot 35 on SP 254546, being lease area C and J for an initial term of 5 years with an option for a further 5 years.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Can I have a seconder, please? The seconder is Councillor McPhee. Does any other Councillor Cooper wish to speak further in relation to the matter?
Yes, Mr Mayor. This is at the airport precinct at Airport Drive, Kensington. The lease space is airside space at lot 35 on SP 254546. The hangars are built and maintained by the leasee on Council's land. IA and JJ Bent Proprietary Limited, ACN 107 443 078 as trustee, entered into the lease with Council for the area CJ on the 1st of March 2017. The lease was assigned to EBCO Queensland Proprietary Limited on the 14th of March 2019. The lease is due to expire on the 28th of February 2022 with a further option for 5 years. The option was not exercised in accordance with the terms of the lease, and therefore a new lease must now be entered into. The initial term of the lease will be for 5 years with an additional option of a further 5 years. Rent will be at market value. The term and conditions of the lease are as per the Council standard terms. Council proposes to apply the exception to the tender auction requirement contained in section 236 in brackets 1, brackets C and brackets 3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, given that the disposal is for the purpose of renewing a lease to an existing tenant.
Thanks, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillors wish to raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. I'll just put it to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is 02, another lease arrangement. I call Councillor Cooper.
Yes, this one, Mr Mayor, is a recommendation 1 that Council apply the exception contained in section 236 in brackets 1 and brackets C and brackets 3 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and 2, the Chief Executive Officer be authorised to enter into a lease to Nutbush Operations Proprietary Limited for part of lot 35 on SP 254546, being leased a lease area AG for an initial term of 5 years with a further 5-year option.
Can I have a seconder, please? Not Tina Turner. is Councillor Haberman. And Councillor Cooper, you speak further on the report or as per on the screen?
Yeah, I think we'll do this one as per the screen. It's pretty straightforward, Mr Mayor, and it's relative to the Bundaberg Aero Club.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillors should raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Next item is in relation to a lot to a different organisation. I'll call item 03. I'll call Councillor Cooper.
Yes, again, Mr Mayor, the recommendation is that one, council apply the exception contained in section 236 in brackets 1 and brackets B and brackets I of the Local Government Regulation 2012, and that the Chief Executive Officer be authorised to enter into a lease for the term of 10 years with a 10-year option to the State of Queensland, represented by the Queensland Fire and Emergency Service for a Lot 7 on SP 199514.
And can I have a seconder, please? Seconder is Councillor Bartel. Councillor Cooper, do you speak further in relation to the matter?
Yeah, just simplifying it, Mr Mayor, it's the lots at 253 Rocky Point Road, Winfield, and it's with the State of Queensland for the Royal Fire Brigade, and the lease is due to expire on the 11th of December 2022, and all the other things are common with the early ones.
Thank you, Councillor Cooper. Any other councillor wish to raise any queries or speak against the motion? No. All those in favour? Those against? So moved. Just before concluding the meeting, urgent matter came up earlier this week, and I'll just include it here in general business. The subject is a donation to the Tonga appeal, and I thank all councillors for their support. As the community is aware, Tonga was severely impacted by last month's volcanic eruption and tsunami. Bundaberg has strong ties with this region, and our assistance now at their greatest time of need will only further strengthen this relationship. Through community collaboration, the Tonga appeal was launched. The monies raised will go directly to the Apifoi Catholic College to be distributed to the community and those most at need, and it won't be tied up or filtered through administration and logistic costs. So recommendation is that Council endorse a financial donation of, as per previously discussed, of $10,000 to the Tongan appeal. Can I have a seconder, please? Seconder is Councillor Haberman. Any other councillors wish to speak in relation to the matter? No. I'll put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Those against? No. So moved. That brings to a conclusion the business of today's meeting. The next ordinary meeting for 2022 is due to be held on the 29th of March? That's correct. Yeah, it'll be 29th of March, that's all right, in the council chambers here in Bundaberg. Council's website will be updated with any of those changes to meeting arrangements and whether the public can attend as soon as changes are known, and we just want to thank everyone for their patience. I now close the meeting at 10:29 a.m. and thank you for your attendance here today. Thank you very much, everyone.